question through the chat box. Okay, and I will read the question for Madam Lina Syazwani.
Prof. Azrul, boleh tak?
Bersatu kita warga UiTM, kita bangsa perkasa, taat dan setiaku untuk negara, penuh semangat wajar. Kita jangan mudah terlupa pengorbanan perjuangan anak bangsa. Kita jangan mudah terleka kemajuan keamanan yang ada. Kita berterima kasih pada pemimpin-pemimpin negara. Kita rasa penuh bersyukur kerahmatan kemuliaan darinya. Kamilah pendukung pewaris bangsa, kamilah pejabat bangsa Malaysia, kamilah warga berwawasan untuk negaraku.
Bolehkah Syah?
Alright, boleh ke? Okay, so I think we should start lah kot. 5 minutes. So ladies and gentlemen, so Honorable Madam Lina Syazwani, Accounting Perlis Lecturers, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam keluarga UiTM dan salam perakaunan Go Accounting. Alright, so this morning we will have speaker from KPJ Kanga, Sekumpulan Perubatan Johor. So our Madam Lina Syazwani. So ideally, before we start the session, so let me introduce you a bit about Madam Lina Syazwani. So she's one of our alumni from UiTM Perlis. I think back in 2010 or 2008, if I'm not mistaken, 2010. Am I right, Madam? Alright,
Yes, Prof.
yeah. So currently now she is an accountant, and she is also one of our best student with the ANC orang kata dapat anugerah ANC lah. Okay, so welcome everybody and welcome Madam Lina Syazwani, and without any delay, I think our first time very limited, I think 11 something. So I will pass to you to share the session about the idea of an accountant in the healthcare industry. So what is actually we need to know and we can learn from you. And we understand that you are not representing the boss and also the organization, but somehow what our expectation is to understand the real practice as an accountant in the healthcare industry. At least, I think all the students need to prepare from now if they are interested and willing to join the healthcare industry. So, please, I allow you to take over from here and share your experience with us.
Okay, thank you so much, Prof. Dr. Azrul, for the brief introduction. So, Assalamualaikum and a very good day to all my respected and beloved lecturers, all the familiar faces that I miss, and all the audience for today. I am honored to be part of the Accounting Global Week, and thank you so much for inviting me for this knowledge sharing session lah, or we can call it as Majlis Ilmu. So today I will share with all of you the accounting practices in healthcare industry. So what should you know? But if I am too fast or ada yang tak faham apa, you can always interrupt me during the sharing session. Okay. Okay, so next. Okay, for today's sharing, I will be sharing on the objectives of private healthcare industry, and then just a glimpse of income statement and balance sheet in healthcare industry, and then how to translate data into financial statements and performance when we are in the healthcare industry or in the hospital. And then a bit of sharing on main functions of finance services at KPJ Perlis Specialist Hospital, the organization where I work currently. Okay, in KPJ Perlis, we didn't refer finance as finance department or accounts department. We refer the finance services as a service because in the healthcare industry, we provide services. So that's why all the departments such as human resources, we will refer it as human resource service, IT services, marketing services, and also finance services lah. So today I will bring all of you close to me, which is where I work, healthcare industry, and how I view accounts in day-to-day, in doing my day-to-day task lah. Okay, and then just a bit of sharing of the background and facilities offered in KPJ Perlis, so that you can, after this, you can imagine what is KPJ Perlis all about, apa yang ada kat KPJ Perlis tu kalau orang sebut KPJ Perlis lah. Okay, next, okay, first is the objective of private healthcare industry. So is actually to provide the best healthcare services to patients, and at the same time to generate maximum revenue with minimum cost. But dengan statement ni, with this statement, don't get me wrong that we are making profit out of sick people. Okay, so it might sound like that, tapi sebenarnya if we can see for the past 2 years, kita semua facing with challenges macam COVID-19 pandemic kan, for about 2 years. So the government and the Ministry of Health are actually fighting to support with to give the best healthcare services to all of us, to the public. And actually, when the government hospital have to focus on the COVID cases, this is where the role of private healthcare sector comes into the light, because we will actually support the government, because not all private sector can cope to deal with the COVID-19 cases. So at that time, there are contracts and arrangement between governments and the private sectors, so that they can sub and outsource all the non-COVID cases to the private sectors to support them at the trial times lah. So that's why the objective is to provide the best healthcare services to patients. And at the same time, when we want to generate the maximum revenue, because of course, when we deal with all the medical equipments, the assets that we use for healthcare, it is quite expensive. So we have to generate revenue to cover back the cost that we incurred. Okay, so far faham kan? Kalau ada apa-apa, you can always interrupt me. Okay, next slide please. Okay, I will be sharing with you income statement at a glance, or I believe in your classes you will be familiar with statement of comprehensive income, so C. So I will be sharing what are the ingredients of income statement if we are in the healthcare industry. Okay, next. First, when we talk about income statement, so
Madam, is it
yeah.
different the term used for reporting? Is
Okay,
it always being used income statement or statement of comprehensive income? Is it you will use it during consolidation?
Okay, during consolidation and during our in the audited report, the presentation is as the same, statement of comprehensive income. Okay. Okay, in income statement, when we talk about comprehensive income, the parts and parcel mestilah revenue, sales and costs, kan? So in healthcare industry, the main contributor to revenue is the patients. So patients are categorized into two, which is inpatient and also outpatient. So perbezaan antara inpatient dan outpatient ni is that for inpatient, if the patient is being admitted, is warded. Maksudnya the patient sleep over lah. Okay, admitted in the ward. So kalau outpatient, patient yang datang jumpa doktor pakar ataupun medical officer dekat emergency tu. Lepas tu jumpa doktor and then ambil ubat untuk take away. So yang tu adalah outpatient. Okay. Untuk inpatient revenue, okay, kita akan tengok there are several indicators that will contribute to the inpatient revenue. Okay, firstly we can see is bed occupancy rate. Okay, in hospitality industry, contoh macam hotel, hospital, selalunya kita akan measure performance of the industry by looking at the bed occupancy. Okay, contoh kalau hotel tu bilik dia selalu booking fully book je, penuh je. So maksudnya the hotel is making high revenue lah. Sama juga macam hospital, if the wards are always full. Contoh, if one hospital have 50 beds, every day the 50 beds are full, 100% occupancy rate lah. But we will look at the percentage on the bed occupancy rate. So if the bed occupancy rate is higher, it will contribute higher revenue. Okay. Next, apart from that, we will look on the number of surgeries performed. Okay, surgeries pula dia terbahagi kepada dua, ada major cases dan ada minor cases. So if major cases, contohnya kalau major cases, the patient will be admitted for about 3 to 4 days to take time until recover. Selalunya, tapi kalau minor cases ni mungkin 1 to 2 days dah boleh discharge. So if during the month number of major surgery cases is high, so it will contribute higher inpatient revenue. So this is the thing that I have to look at and accountants have to look at, because we have to justify if the inpatient revenue is lower. We have to justify why. We have to look at the indicators such as the one that I presented to you lah. Okay, next. Okay, untuk deliveries, contohnya macam patient datang untuk bersalin. So number of deliveries, if higher, it will contribute to high inpatient revenue. Okay, apart from this, we will look at the nursing procedures. Okay, contoh nursing procedure ni macam if the nurses assist the patient in such a way like cleaning the wound, perform the blood taking. So everything, every procedures that the nurses perform will contribute to the revenue as well. Okay, next is medical supplies. Medical supplies ni refer to macam medical disposable item. In hospital, we will use this medical disposable item. Kita akan pakai dan buanglah selalunya. Contohnya macam gloves. When the doctors want to enter the operation theatre, they will need to wear their cap, their glove. So everything, every single thing that they use will generate revenue for hospital. Okay. Next is pharmaceutical. For pharmaceutical, it refers to the drugs lah, ubat. So, ubat yang kita bagi dekat patient when they stay as inpatient ataupun kalau outpatient pun take away sama juga. Okay. Lab test is whenever the doctor want to do the blood test to the patient to check for anything. So, this will generate revenue for lab also. Okay, next is radiology. Under radiology, usually this will refer to the imaging system. Contohnya macam CT scan, X-rays. So when the consultants or doktor pakar wants to perform further investigation to the patient, so this will map to the radiologist punya revenue lah. Sama juga macam medical equipments usage. Medical equipments usage ni contohnya semua equipments yang kita guna during the patient stays in the hospital. The equipment, the instruments that we use in the operation theatre to the patients. And then under physiotherapy, if contoh kalau ada sports or athlete, sportman ataupun athletes yang injured. So when they stay at the hospital, the doctors will refer this patient to physio. Okay, so this will anything that the physio serve the patients. Contohnya buat letak hot pack ke dekat belakang due to back pain. So everything that they use will generate to revenue. Lastly, of course, kalau kita admitted, doktor akan buat ward rounds kan. So consultant fees and consultations will generate the revenue. So bezanya dengan outpatient revenue is kita tak akan measure based on surgeries, deliveries sebab outpatient patient just come to the hospital and get advice from doctor and then take medication and then balik. So but the revenue yang bukan under inpatient ni sama saja, dia pharmacy, lab test, radiology macam yang saya explain tadi lah. So far under revenue ada apa-apa soalan tak?
Next slide, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, all right. So before we go for the next slide, if you don't mind, I'm just curious about the accounting application in this kind of industry. So first thing is about, are you applying responsibility accounting? Can I say that?
Yang tu
Meaning that each of department, they will go for their own budgeting. When we talk about
yes.
physiotherapy, they will have the unit to collect all the fees and so on.
Yes.
So is it each of the department will prepare their own budget and internal accounting company their own?
No, the budget will not be prepared by their own, but we will have a meeting with all the services such as physio, pharmacy, and then we will set the budget for next year lah.
I see. All right. Okay. Thank you.
So under cost of sale, of course, when we have revenue, we will have the cost to cover the cost incurred to generate the revenues and sales. Okay, and the cost of sales, mainly the cost is on the direct costs. Okay, for material costs, it will incur medical cost of sale on medical supplies. The medical supplies, just like I mentioned before, which is medical disposable items, and also the drugs. Okay, for direct staff costs, this referred to staff who is directly dealing with the patients. Okay, contohnya macam nurses. So they are considered as direct staff. So any cost related to them, such as salary, allowance, and overtime, so will be classified under direct staff cost lah. Okay. And next is operating overhead. Under operating overhead, we have repair and maintenance equipments. Contoh salah satu expenses under dia. Contohnya, the equipments more focus on medical equipments. Contoh macam ward beds and the treadmills, semua yang medical equipment yang kita directly use to the patient. If the equipments need maintenance, so then the expenses will be classified under this. So next is housekeeping expenses, because in the hospital we will have to have the housekeeping to be performed 24 hours at each level, especially at the wards. And then the training cost. Ada dua, satu dekat admin, satu dekat operating overhead. Sebab yang under operating overhead ni is training cost for direct staff. Contoh, if we send the nurses to for a training, so the cost incurred for this will be classified under operating overhead. Okay, next slide please. This is admin cost. Just like I said before, when there is direct staff cost, this is indirect staff cost. Indirect staff cost adalah staff yang selain daripada nurse. Contoh macam IT staff, HR, human resources, marketing, and also finance. So semua staff yang not directly dealing with the hospital operation, the back end staff. Okay, so ada admin cost yang kita boleh tengok kalau dalam hospital industry ni, macam ada advertisement, ada marketing and promotion, especially when the hospital is new. So we have to venture in marketing and promotion. So all the expenses will be categorized here. So the utility bills and printing and stationaries, repair and maintenance is for office and building. So for example, if there is a computer that need to be repaired, so the cost will be included here. Then depreciation expenses and the admin cost. So that's about it for this slide. Next, okay, balance sheet or is also known as statement of financial position. So in our financial statement presentation, also the name is statement of financial position lah. So I will not share much on balance sheet, only on assets and liabilities lah. So in hospital, so we have the PPE, property, plant and equipment. Of course, for hospital, we will have building as our asset. And then hospital equipments. Contohnya macam MRI, CT scan, the wheelchairs yang kita tengok tu. Lepas tu katil dekat ward. So everything considered as asset to the hospital. Okay, next is cash and bank balances. Of course, any balance dekat bank. Next is inventories. Inventories ni untuk hospital, stocks untuk medical supplies dan juga drugs lah. Contohnya macam kalau stok untuk medical supplies tu macam needle, gloves and mask. So semua benda tu ada dekat setiap services. Setiap services kena jaga dia punya stok. So macam dekat ward pun ada benda-benda ni, dekat operation theatre pun ada. Ubat pun akan ada dekat setiap department. Dia bukan ada dekat pharmacy sahaja. So and then lastly is trade debtors. Untuk hospital, trade debtors is the patients. Okay. Sebab tu I will always remind my team, especially the frontliners, counters, that whenever you see a patient step into the main lobby, you have to see the patient as our revenue. Because trade debtors, dia punya pair dia selalunya dengan sales lah, kan. So I will always remind them so that they will have in their mind that we have to serve this patient. We have to give the best service that we can provide, because they will help us to generate the revenue at the same time. So but patients ni kadang-kadang bila dia mai dekat hospital, dia akan bayar sendiri, ataupun ada patient yang ada insurance. So untuk patients yang ada insurance cover untuk dia punya bill tu, so the trade debtor akan terbahagi kepada dua. Trade debtor akan ada insurance sebagai trade debtor juga. So untuk company lain, contoh macam kalau KWSP ataupun company lain yang cover staff dia untuk medical, so the trade debtor untuk hospital adalah KWSP tu itself, bukan patient tu. So adalah several category, just to share with all of you lah. Okay, next is liabilities. Okay, untuk hospital, trade creditors ni adalah bila kita beli stok-stok ubat, stok-stok medical supplies dengan supplier lah. So supplier tu adalah kita punya trade creditors. And for borrowings ni, selalunya kalau kita hospital, a new hospital, to start hospital operation, they will commit with borrowings. And usually if they want to purchase medical equipments baru, so they will commit with borrowing lah selalunya. So yang tu just the gist of balance sheets to share with all of you. So tapi I believe the treatments, all the debit and credit, you are more power lagi lah daripada saya. Because you are always doing it in class. Okay, so next.
Alright, so we wait for any question, guys.
Yes.
So
Okay.
maybe some of you interested to understand the item about the accounting part of the healthcare industry. Maybe we stop for a while just to see whether there is a question from students.
Yes, please ask me.
Okay, so my part, I already have a question. Sorry for that. Okay, so as we know, accounting is a process of identifying, classifying, recording, and then summarizing, analyzing of the accounting data yang biasa kita buat. So what is the challenge part of this process of accounting? Is it difficult in identifying? Is it difficult in classifying? Or in terms of recording itself? So which part is more challenging towards as an accountant in healthcare industry?
Okay. In my opinion, in terms of recording, we don't have any problem. But the main thing that we have to be firm is when we want to classify the nature of the account. So that is where the basic of accounting is important. So tak kira lah kalau kita ada sistem ke, sebab the system will help us to record. But before we record, we have to have the knowledge of accounting, the basic. That's why just sharing, in my team, I have various background of staff. I have the background with diploma and also degree, but For diploma, I will compulsory for diploma in accounting because the basic is there.
I see. Right. Okay, so any question? So just open up, switch on your mic and you can ask the question directly to the Madam Lina Syazwani. So no problem. Okay, so for the time being, I think we can proceed. While waiting, maybe dia orang tak ada di soalan. So I think we just go to the next section part.
Okay. Okay. So next is on how to translate data into financial statements and performance. So this is related to the question that is being asked by Prof just now also. So okay, you can proceed to the next slide. Okay. Untuk yang ni saya just share screen untuk kalau dekat KPJ, we are using this healthcare information technology system, or we call it as HITS. So this system is considered as macam procurement system jugalah. Dalam menu dia ada patient management, bed management. Tapi untuk accounts, untuk finance, we will focus more on the patient management and and account management. Bill management. Bill management is when they want to generate bill for the patients. Material management pun finance akan tengok juga sebab this is more on when the purchasing and pharmacy want to purchase goods, ubat, medical supplies, they will record it using this module. And then the fixed asset. So tapi bukan semua staff ada semua function. But for me, I can view all this menu lah. Okay, untuk this is actually our medium to record all the daily transactions. So everything that we charge to the patient, everything that we purchase for hospital use, and we will record from raw data into the system. Contoh, bila kita dapat invoice daripada supplier, daripada trade creditors. So kita akan enter the data into the system, but when we enter it, there is, I am not sure for other organization, but for this system, we don't have, there is no such thing of debit and credit. Sebab bila kita nak register tu, the main thing that the system need us to fill up is only the number of invoice, the date, and then the amount, the supplier name. So and they have to key in the category. What are the category of the expenses lah? If we purchase drugs, so we have contoh stock. So we have to choose the category stock drugs. So macam tu. Tapi tak ada tulis, oh dia akan debit stock drug, dia akan kredit ni, dia tak tulis yang tu. So sebab tu, I will always remind my team to always imagine. Every time you want to enter the data, you have to imagine what is happening at the back of the system. Because if you don't do that, from time to time, the knowledge of accounting will be, you will tend to forget. Of course, bila kita tak buat hari-hari, kita akan lupa. So, I will remind them because this is important. But sebab satu lagi, bila kita enter data dalam sistem, dia tak akan ada orang yang akan check wajah kita tu. Bukan, sepatutnya memang akan check, tapi bukan setiap hari I have the time to check, oh okay, you enter this one, betul apa semua. So there will no body that will help you to check. Tak sama macam zaman kita belajar. Bila kita belajar, kita study, we want to pass in the exam. But when we do our work at the workplace, we will have to deal the consequences when the month end. Sebab setiap bulan finance will perform monthly closing account. So I think it is not in healthcare industry sahaja yang akan close account, but all the sectors in the industry akan close account. Sebab tu you all mesti pernah dengar dengan ayat accounting is sacred a few days ago. Sebab tu accounting is sacred sebenarnya. Sebab setiap sektor, bukan industri healthcare sahaja, akan perlukan account department. So you have to actually be proud of your knowledge when you learn accounting. Okay, untuk iklan.
Pernah tak account tak balance, madam?
Pernah,
Pernah?
tapi
Oh, really?
walaupun pakai sistem. Tapi yang tu kita kena minta HQ lah tolong tengok kan. Sebab okay, account tak balance kat balance sheet lah. Balance sheet ataupun trial balance. Tiba-tiba tak balance. So kita tak boleh ni sebab sistem. Kadang-kadang sistem ada tertekak 2 expenses sekaligus. So benda tu kadang-kadang kita kena recon balik satu-satu. So waktu tu lah datanglah reconciliation. Selain daripada bank recon, of course setiap bulan kita kena buat bank reconciliation. So mungkin dia punya ni tak sama macam waktu kita exam, tapi dia punya the gist of it is kita kena make sure duit dalam account bank sama dengan bank statement dan sama juga dalam sistem kita. Sebab sistem ni yang kita nak generate tu nanti, dia akan keluar cash and bank balance macam saya tunjuk dalam balance sheet tu. Dia mesti bila auditor main, dia akan check balik tally tak dengan bank statement. Kalau tak tally, mesti ada itulah reconciling items lah benda tu. So every month, okay, so I faham when my team kadang-kadang in the real workplace or working environment, everything is based on deadline. So semua kena cepat. So sebab tu macam I cakap tadi, kadang-kadang kita tak sempat dah nak check betul ke tak setiap seorang buat. Sebab setiap kali invoice sampai, we receive invoices. We don't receive one invoice. We receive a pile of invoices for drugs, a pile of invoices for stock medical supplies. Yang itu tak termasuk lagi untuk printing and stationeries punya expenses, housekeeping expenses. So semua benda tu they have to macam Prof cakap, they have to classify. Dia kena tahu nak kategori yang mana. So sebab tu the basic of accounting is very essential. Sebab tu it is compulsory for my team to have at least diploma in accounting. But if don't have, tapi waktu kita study waktu SPM pun kalau ada basic account pun dah cukup sebenarnya, tapi still dia kena ada diploma lah. So sebab tu I selalu pesan, they have to always imagine the accounting entries happening at the back of the system, because suddenly if the system corrupt, so you still have the knowledge inside you. The knowledge is not corrupt yet. So sebab tu I selalu pesan. And then they have to know the nature of expenses each time they want to enter the data. Contoh, I will give you one example, one situation. Sebab setiap bulan kita akan close account kita 1 hari bulan. Contohnya account bulan 4, kita akan close 1 hari bulan 5. Dalam working environment, satu lagi saya nak highlight. 1 hari bulan 5 is Labor Day kan. So public holiday ke apa ke, you have to close the account on the 1st of the month. So they don't want to know whether it is the holiday or whatsoever. So it is quite challenging, but memang kadang-kadang ada juga terfikir sebab apalah ambil cost account ni setiap bulan kena close account. Tapi yang tu just part of it. There is a lot more. If you have passion, kita ada benda yang kita suka, so ada banyak lagi benda yang yang menyeronokkan sebenarnya selain daripada tu. Tapi untuk when we have to chase for the deadline, of course kita akan rasa stress, but that is part and parcel of the challenges lah. When you enter working environment, sama juga macam bila kita study, kita kena stay up, kita kena stay back, kena discuss, present, kena submit final year project. So benda yang sama, but we apply kita punya hard work in everything that we do. Okay. So and then yang tadi sorry saya derail from saya punya main point tadi. Yang saya kata tadi contoh, bila kita nak enter data, kita kena tahu nature of expenses. So contoh, kalau tiba-tiba kita tersilap enter untuk bulan 4 tu, sepatutnya kena invoice tu adalah security expenses. Tapi kita tersilap enter kategori lain. Kita enter printing and stationery. So memang dia akan masuk juga dalam kita punya comprehensive income as expenses. Tapi dia salah rumah. Dia salah account. So benda ni kadang kita tak perasan not until we want to close the account, and then when we generate the comprehensive income, kita akan tengok monthly trend of income statement, ada revenue, ada cost. So bila kita analyse cost tu setiap bulan, tiba-tiba bila tengok dekat admin cost tu, kita tengok security expense bulan 1 sampai bulan 3 ada cost, tapi bulan 4 zero. So there must be something wrong with the presentation of the income statement. So bila kita review balik, tengok expenses dekat printing and stationery already double the actual amount. So bila kita analyse balik baru kita jumpa. So ni contoh yang saya cakap, bila kita tersilap, kadang-kadang human error ataupun nature of expenses tu kita tak sure. So benda tu akan impact dalam kita punya reporting sebab every month kalau kita tak report account kita dekat auditor pun, sebab selalunya audited account ni setahun sekali sahaja, tapi every month I have to present it to top level of management. So the item under expenses ni matters lah, sebab tiba-tiba security expenses tak ada dalam satu bulan tu. So sebab tu saya cakap it will impact. Bila berlaku benda macam tu, we have to perform journal entry, we have to reclass and offset balik expenses tu. Itu saja contoh yang saya share. Ada apa-apa soalan tak? Ataupun tak faham?
Sorry. Actually, saya nak type tapi tersilap type miss typo. So actually, I'm very interested on heat system. So it's sort like ERP system. Somehow this is a big company. I think maybe they are using ERP. Am I right?
Yes.
Ya, jadi banyak ramai student yang tak tahu sebenarnya the importance of understanding of ERP. So what is your suggestion on value added to student to go for certification of ERP?
Okay. It is good to actually enhance your knowledge on the system because it will actually help you bila kita nak masuk alam pekerjaan nanti. It will be a value added for you when you are being interviewed or assessed. You can have extra value compared to other fresh graduates that don't have the basic of it, because in private sector we will actually opt for when the candidates already have the knowledge. So of course we will opt for the candidates that have the knowledge compared to if the candidate is still fresh and we have to make time and train the staff after that. So it is actually a very good initiative if you want to venture and enhance your knowledge in the system lah.
All right, okay. So we try to look into that. Thank you for the suggestion. So I think, yeah, of course, definitely ERP will give value added because most of the big company, they will use ERP. So I think when we provide this kind of skill, so you will give, the industry itself can accept our student easily to enter the employment opportunity. All right,
Yes.
thank you. So we proceed, isn't it?
Yes, if there is no question, we can proceed. Okay, this slide I will share on the finance services function. So just like I mentioned before, we didn't refer our department as finance department or accounts department. So, okay, let's look at the main function of finance services. Okay, in KPJ per list, so this is just to share with all of you. The main function of finance is to maintain and ensure all transaction has been recorded correctly and on time lah. So macam saya explain tadi, untuk invoices semua yang sampai dekat kita, we will record it in the system macam yang saya share tadi. And then all the payment yang kita buat dekat supplier, payment untuk utilities, payment of salary, payment untuk doktor, we have to record it on timely basis lah. Sebab kalau expenses tu berlaku di bulan 4 tapi kita tak record dia dalam bulan 4 tapi kita record dalam bulan 5, it is not correct lah. Benda tu salah. So sebab tu one of the main function is to maintain and ensure semua transaction has been recorded. Termasuklah semua bill yang patient buy sebab the bills will selalunya mapping to revenue. So revenue kita kena record it when it is incurred, kita akan record lah. Okay, next is financial planning for hospital and control the implementation. Okay, untuk ni, dia selalunya yang ni function saya lah, financial planning ni. As accountant, I have to prepare the budget for hospital and then every month I will have to monitor the actual performance of hospital. Sama ada we meet the budget or we are way behind the budget. So I have to control the implementation as well and have to advise the top management if there is ada huge variance or whatsoever. Okay, but in order for me to do this, we will have to do our monthly closing on time. Macam tadi, we have to record all the transaction on time, kena tally semua. And then ensure so that the figures that we will present and provide is true. Okay, and then ensure all the services given has been paid by the patient. Contoh macam services yang kita bagi dekat semua patients lah has been paid by the patient according to hospital policy and procedures. If the patient is not paid the services, then the credit control team has to do a bit of extra work lah untuk nak collect balik semua benda sebab ada juga cases yang kadang-kadang patient tu abscond. Dia tak bayar But that's why, sebab tu kadang-kadang you tengok kalau dekat private hospital, kalau kita nak admit tu, kita akan minta upfront deposit. So to cover back if ni. So benda ni semua under finance. Then finance will have to be answerable. Why? If the patient tak bayar. So I have to chase my credit control team as well kalau ada cases macam ni. Then at the same time we have to have the empathy as well to the patients. Lagi nampak macam along pula. Kan? Okay, next is maintain cash management of the hospital. Okay, cash management of the hospital ni dia ada sebab untuk hospital kita akan terima payment sama ada cash, card ataupun check. So every day when we collect the payment, this payment, semua collection ni akan disimpan di finance. Kita ada safe box, and then the what we call it CIT service, cash in transit services, will collect the cash and then will deposit it into the bank. So we have these services that we will pay to the security force. So before they collect all the collection from our safe box and to deposit it into the bank, we have to make sure every single cents, every single RM is tally with the system and with the physical cash, so that when they deposit it in the bank statement, the figures will tie. So that is the other main function of finance as well lah in the hospital. If RM1 tak tally pun tak boleh. Next is to advise top level management on financial matters, macam yang saya sebut tadi juga. Next is to monitor asset and stock in hand. So assets under hospital ni semua adalah under custody of finance, because we will issue the asset tagging number. So setiap aset akan bertagging. Contohnya macam kalau aset dalam operation theatre ataupun aset dekat wards, so kita akan ada tagging lah. But at the same time, the head of service tu mesti kena jaga aset dia. In case of bila they want to shift the asset location, tiba-tiba dia nak letak pula dekat ICU. So they have to inform us. I have in my team, I have one staff that will handle this. So she will have to know where the asset is located, because every year when we have auditors coming over, they will do the asset citing. So when they want to look at the asset, if in the system it is located at the ICU, the asset have to be at the ICU. It cannot be somewhere else. So that is part of our main function lah, to monitor the assets. That's why every month I will always remind all the other department as well. If they want to shift the asset, they have to let finance know. So the communication is actually key in this. Okay. Stock in hand pun finance have to monitor, because every month we will have monthly stock take at all the departments, dekat wards, dekat OT. So kadang-kadang bila OT tu ada case pun, kita kena juga fikir kat dalam OT tu, barang-barang dalam OT tu. Tapi yang ni staff saja, sebab benda tu kan macam kita dah ada PDPA semua. So we will respect the patient at the same time. So kadang-kadang bila doktor tu tengah buat prosedur, so kita takkan masuk lah, kita akan tunggu settle dulu macam tu. Tapi kalau time auditor main nak buat, stock check, dia tak kira lah. Dia akan masuk juga untuk nak kira stok. Okay, next. Yang ni saja kot under main functions of finance. Okay, ada soalan tak untuk ni? Ataupun boring ke? Okay, so yang ni I will be sharing a bit on KPJ per list. So, I am presenting KPJ Berhad. So, KPJ per list is actually one of the 28 hospital under KPJ Berhad group. Okay, next. Okay, this. Okay, per list, the year of operation is on 17 May 2018. So, KPJ per list is the 26th hospital in the group. So, semua kita ada 28, but KPJ per list is the 26th hospital lah. So, if you are interested to look more, you can type on the web page address there.
Can we have a visit one day?
Yes, of
Student
course.
visiting.
Of course. Nanti kita arrange.
Alright, okay.
Okay. Next. This is our vision and mission. Okay, preferred healthcare provider, and the mission is delivering quality healthcare services lah, so that patient will feel that although yes, it is quite expensive, but it is worth the pay for their stay. Okay, so this is our location. Because I believe in Kangar, KPJ Palace is quite boleh nampak lah sebab bangunan yang antara bangunan yang paling tinggi. Tersergam. Okay, next. These are the facilities that we provide. Okay, this is the main lobby. So you can see discharge.
Kakak, kalau kakaknya kat minyakmu.
So you can see here discharge and admission counter. So this is under finance. Okay, there is information counter. Okay, then this is emergency. At the accident and emergency, we have our counter as well there, and then the treatment room, the yellow zone, and then the medical officer room. So medical officer room ni dia bukan doktor pakar, tapi dia pegawai perubatan lah. Okay. Next. Ni yang saya selalu sebut tadi. Macam radiologi. Okay, diagnostic imaging. Dia more on imaging. So, the assets dekat sini yang paling expensive lah. General X-ray, CT scan, mobile X-ray. So, ni adalah aset-aset hospital. MRI, the magnetic resonance image. So, MRI tu kalau masuk, kita boleh pilih kita nak dengar lagu apa. Semua. So, sebab kadang-kadang MRI ni dia makan masa. Sejam lebih juga. So, takut patient boring kan. So, setengah orang bila dia tengok mesin ni, dia takut. But, we will try to make it comfortable for the patients. Okay. Next. This is the pharmacy that I mentioned. So, kalau tengok dekat situ tu semua stacks of drugs, stocks. So, bila kita nak buat stock takes ke apa ke, kita memang akan masuk dekat situ dan kira dengan pharmacy tu. Kita kena make sure semua stok dekat situ tally dengan stock listing yang kita print dalam sistem. Katalah kalau tak tally, they have to answer to us. Okay. Okay, this is our operation theatre. Ini tengok yang macam ni, tak takut lah. Okay. Next. Physio. So, fisioterapi ni semua kita ada facilities kat sini. Ada treadmills, ada tu cycle tu untuk kita nak ni. So, benda-benda yang saya cerita tadi yang can generate to our revenue lah. But of course, the cost tu dia expensive lah for this. Okay. I mean the cost incurred for the hospital. Okay, next. Okay, this is the clinics for our consultant. Consultant tu maksudnya doktor pakar. So for KPJ Perlis, we allow our pakar untuk decorate their own clinic at their own choice. So they will hire lah designer ke ID ke internal designer mereka. So sebab tu benda ni yang buat orang suka tengok cantik je, macam kafe pun ada. Kan. So next. Okay, ni lab untuk blood taking. Ni kita punya room and board. Kita ada single bedded, 2 bedded, 4 bedded and also premier room. Okay, next. Ni ada facilities lah. Kita ada ATM. So that kalau patient datang perlu bayar deposit ke apa ke, ATM dah ada siap. At the same time, kita bukan terima cash saja, kita terima juga sekarang kan semua digital. So e-wallet lah, touch and go e-wallet, semua kita dah ada dah yang tu. Kita ada cafe, kita ada free parking. So kalau you all tengok under KPJ dekat Kedah kita ada KMC kan. Kalau kita compare dengan KMC tu parking dia sudah full je. Tapi for now KPJ Perlis ni mungkin baru lagi. So parking dia taklah full macam tu. So free parking. Okay. Next. Okay, yang tu saja. Tapi yang ni I ambil pada Google, so dia tak quote sebab macam tak ada nama pun. So if they say it's impossible, it is impossible for them, not for you. So sebab apa saya cakap macam ni, saya nak motivate sikit lah sebab Prof pun cakap selit-selit kan motivation. Sebab this is from my own experience. Before I become an accountant, there is someone once told me that it is impossible for you to become an accountant at your age, because at that time I am about 28 years old. Because the assumption is that in that person's mind, because if I became an accountant at that time in the KPJ group, I am the youngest accountant. So but so the person thinks that maybe I cannot cope because the with the accountant's role because of my age. But then the credit goes to my ex-boss because she motivated me. That she said that if you are feeling down and you are feeling that you cannot do it, age is not a problem because in KPJ we have 28 hospital. So you imagine even one hospital only have one accountant, you have another 27 accountants that you can refer to. So I believe what she said is true, because and then I made friends with all the other accountants, because almost all the states in Malaysia we have KPJ. So betul, memang transaction dia tak lari sangat pun. Sama je. Semuanya beza mungkin KPJ Perlis ni kecil sebab number of beds are smaller in size as compared to other bigger hospital. But the accounting entry is just the same because every month they will submit the same report to the HQ. So I take up the challenge, and that's why I feel like this code is very close to me, because when I don't think it is impossible, so it is not impossible for me. I can do it. So For all of you students of accounting, you have to bear in mind to be in the accounting industry. It is quite challenging, but it is not impossible because yes, you have to be agile with the challenges. You have to be agile. You have to be adaptable with everything that is happening and all the technology that is emerging. So, but you have to bear in mind that if you want it so bad, you can actually achieve it. So how much do you want it? So and then just like I said before, you have to be proud of your qualification. So as an accounting graduates, we have the rights to feel proud with our background because when we speak, actually, we speak with facts and figures. We don't speak just like that because I know. No, because you have the figures. So, if you are planning to pursue or to continue your study further, whether in degree or master's degree or or SCA professional papers, so you can go ahead because this further studies will actually what we call will prepare you to the outside world because you can be more matured because when you are in the working environment, if you want to make a decision, if you want to be amongst the decision makers, you have to have the knowledge. And when you present to the top level of management, and if you say that we are making money, so you have to show, you have to analyze the financial statements and justify to them because some of them they don't have the accounting background. But when you can speak so that they can understand what you are presenting because you understand it. So you are not speaking like you are reading in the book because everyone can read the book, right? So you can simplify the figures so that people can understand that okay, we understand this justification. That is why you need to pursue your further studies if you want. But at the same time, it doesn't mean if you don't pursue your study because not everyone is some people will have challenges to pursue. Mungkin ada yang boleh study takat diploma, but it doesn't matter because the basic of accounting you already grab it. You all dah ada dah accounting tu. So, kalau you all nak venture terus nak masuk dalam any sector pun, nak at least nak get experience dulu pun tak ada masalah. It is your choice to decide. But then, over time, bila you dah start kerja, okay, you can practice, you can gain experience, okay. But then, mungkin akan ada satu time that you will feel that, okay, I want to enhance my career. So, actually, you can, at that time, you can do a part-time study or short courses sambil-sambil you bekerja. So, benda tu sebenarnya dia tak impossible. Tak semestinya kalau you tak sambung sekarang, you takkan sambung dah sampai bila-bila. So, the choice is yours because some people will have challenges. Tak semua orang dia boleh sambung terus direct. So, macam saya dulu, saya memang Alhamdulillah lah, saya sambung rezeki, saya sambung terus daripada diploma, degree, and then saya sambung masters. Sebab saya rasa macam kalau once saya dah tinggal, kalau saya stop, saya kerja, saya takut lepas tu saya dah tak boleh nak fokus. Tapi setengah orang dia boleh. So you know your capabilities. And then boleh masuk next slide. Thank you. Okay, success is not the key to happiness. Happiness is the key to success. If you love what you are doing, you will be successful. So untuk quote ni, maksudnya kalau you all suka apa yang you all buat, you will be successful. Tak kira lah dekat mana pun. Whether you are in a manufacturing industry, healthcare industry, tak kisah. So you will be successful, tak kisah. Tapi you have to have the passion in whatever you do. So that benda tu memang akan membantulah you to excel. So satu lagi saya suka quote ni, hard work beats talent. Contoh, dia ada dua jenis orang. Orang yang memang talented sangat-sangat tapi dia tak rajin sangat. So dia takkan boleh sama dengan orang yang memang ada dia tak berapa talented tapi dia very hardworking. So jangan terkejut kalau orang yang sangat-sangat hardworking ni dia boleh beat orang yang talented tu. And then saya punya advice lah. Ada masa lagi kan? Okay. Advice, don't be choosy. Bila kita nak masuk dalam alam pekerjaan ni, sebab kadang-kadang tempat yang kita nak ambil kita kerja tu pun akan tengok sama ada you are being choosy, you are demanding sangat ataupun tak. So awal-awal bila you fresh graduate, kita tak ada experience lagi, kita demand. Mesti kita rasa, oh, I don't like accounting graduate. So lepas tu kita akan google dekat newspaper lah, dekat Google lah, berapa kita punya market value sekarang. So yang ni aku akan letak, aku akan demand gaji banyak ni nanti bila nak minta dalam interview. Sebab selalu dalam interview orang akan tanya anything to us, panel akan tanya. So kita akan, lepas tu panel akan tanya selalunya berapa minimum salary yang you all nak. So waktu tu lah kita akan letak lah, kita nak berapa apa semua. So sebenarnya, ya memang value kita high dekat market untuk accounting accounting career ni. Sebab itulah one of the top career untuk professional is account. Tapi kita kena mula-mula kita tak boleh choosy. So kalau kita masuk pun macam nanti kalau you all nak pergi intern ke apa ke, internship kat mana-mana, kita tak boleh memilih untuk tak buat kerja yang macam kadang-kadang mungkin tak semestinya intern saja. Kalau kita start kerja awal-awal pun mungkin mula-mula kita kena scan document, we have to do the photocopying job, we have to perform the filing, all the documentation. So but your expectation, of course I know, of course you will feel like, takkan aku nak masuk account, aku belajar account selama ni aku nak buat photostat je, aku nak filing, takkan kot. So you must have the dalam mindset tu, of course you akan rasa tu. Tapi jangan anggap yang tu adalah satu waste of time, because you have to look at the other side. Macam contoh bila kita filing dokumen, kita tengah mengenal dokumen tu. Because when we are studying, we know, okay, kita ada belajar invoice, voucher, tapi kita tak pernah pegang pun dokumen tu. Kita tak tahu pun rupa dia macam mana. Mungkin dalam buku ada tunjuk gambar, kita boleh google apa semua. But bila kita tak buat dia, kita tak tahu. So bila kita tengah filing, I selalu bagi tahu dekat siapa yang main intern ataupun my team. When we filing, we know all the documents. So semua ada dekat fingertips kita. And then bila kita nak cari balik dokumen tu mudah. And then benda ni akan membantu bila you all want to enhance your career, you want to develop more into the superior punya level. Maksudnya macam when you are going to supervise the staff you yang baru masuk nanti, staff yang baru tu pun tak boleh tipu kita. Macam kalau bahasa ni tak boleh cong kita. Sebab because we already know. Because we already done that before them. So we know what you are doing. So dia tak boleh. Sebab tu, sebab I pun, saya punya experience ni hari, bila mula-mula saya masuk dulu, saya bukan terus masuk sebagai masuk-masuk, accountant terus. Macam tu. Tak, saya masuk dulu pun, waktu tu saya kata saya sambung sampai master terus. But saya tak ada working experience langsung. So saya start dengan masuk dekat kilang. Kilang pun ada account department. So sebab tu saya cakap account department dekat semua company mesti akan ada. So sebab tu kita ni untung sebab kita ada accounting background. Kat mana-mana pun mesti dia pun nak account dia pun punya transaction tu. Dia pun nak record dia punya bookkeeping tu semua. So I start at kilang as account executive. Waktu tu I ada master tapi I kata tak kisah sebab tak ada experience tak apa. So duduk dekat SME tu kilang, small size kilang, Bumi Putra punya manufacturing. And then after that I ada dapat offer dekat MSU College sebagai lecturer untuk accounting. Tapi waktu I dapat tu, I baru je accept offer from KPJ Perlis. So, and at the same time rezeki sebab dah memang nak settle down dekat Perlis. So, bila masuk dekat KPJ Perlis pun bukan masuk terus jadi accountant juga. Sama juga masuk sebagai account exec. So, starting with tak semestinya bila kita masuk, kita kena expect kita masuk-masuk terus nak jadi decision makers. So, your career path actually will let you learn along the way, slowly but surely. So, itulah yang saya punya sharing untuk hari ni. Kalau ada apa-apa soalan boleh tanya.
Assalamualaikum Puan, Madam.
Assalam.
Okey, saya Marja Mamanu, salah seorang pensyarah di sinilah. Okey, Puan masih baru dalam dunia perakaunan. Sebagai seorang accountant di KPJ lah kalau ikutkan kan. Okey, sebab ini juga membuatkan saya macam berbanggalah, macam impressed dengan your competencies masih baru dan berada di KPJ tu. KPJ tu is a well known healthcare industry lah dalam hospital, dalam healthcare industry. So we can see today that every business integrate with the use of the digital innovation, right? With the latest technologies. Same goes to the hospital, especially private hospital in this healthcare industry. So they are also accumulating the technologies for providing the best healthcare services to the patients. So one question je daripada saya, how actually Madam deal, especially when it comes with the intervention campur tangan daripada kerajaan. Contoh macam laws imposed by the government in respect to enhance patients' demand. So contohnya sarana kepada e-wallet, e-services, nak ambil ubat sekarang pun kena guna booking system kan. So of course all of this kind of a scenario actually affect the healthcare industry. They need to make a lot of investment in respect to the technologies, in respect to the technologies components, hardware, software semua. Okay, so investment yang sangat banyak. So how Madam play your rational role, especially when making decisions in terms of structuring the budgets, okay, cutting costs here and there, okay, nak come up dengan critical judgment tu, nak convince the board bukan sesuatu yang senang. So Ya, itulah question daripada saya. Alright, terima kasih Puan.
Okay, thank you Puan untuk soalan tu. So, yes betul, memang bila ada government intervention untuk new ways of receiving collection, macam contohnya macam e-wallets and everything. So, of course it will impact us. And untuk kami sendiri dekat KPJ Perlis pun memang kita dah ada macam saya share tadi, e-wallet, and then we are utilizing the QR Pay, duit now semua. Tapi memang mula-mula macam the challenge is memang susah sebelum kita nak start, sebab walaupun we have a group of other hospital as well under KPJ, but when it comes to the payment mode, contoh when we want to initiate the e-wallets at KPJ Perlis, I have to go down to the banks, and I have to call the Touch and Go e-wallet, and I have to ask them how to apply, how to make our payment mode to have this kind of platforms so that patients can pay us using that platform. And at the same time, I have to make sure that when they make the payment, all the transactions will be recorded as per our policies, because we also have the policies of handling the collections. So it must be aligned with the our policy as well. And for that, there are the challenges. But in terms of government intervention, macam macam ubat pun memang sekarang kita ada juga drive-thru apa semua, yang kan government dah support juga, suruh telemedicine, consultation with doctors apa semua. So benda-benda tu pun memang ada, sebab each time bila ada new law by the government, we are lucky because we are in the group. So the KPJ group will brief all the hospitals under the KPJ flagship. They will brief on the new policy or procedures, but when it comes to the monetary, the budget, they will also request information from us in the hospitals. So we finance representative must have the full inputs to provide them with the data, because they will have to present to the board, especially for KPJ Perlis, because we just started our operation in 2018. So we are quite new. So in terms of the budget, it is quite challenging for us. But just like I said before, the HQ will present, when we present to our board, the board of directors will present to the HQ. So in terms of the budget, usually HQ will decide for us. Am I answering your question?
Ya, Alhamdulillah. Bagus. Your ITM telah menghasilkan satu produk yang sangat bagus di sini. Alhamdulillah.
At the same time, saya nak tambah,
Ya, ya.
kalau saya sendiri pun interview candidates, kalau candidates daripada UiTM will always impress me. Always. Selalu macam tu. That's why I'm proud of UiTM as well.
Yeah, the purple blood.
UiTM di hatiku.
Alright, so any other question? Any question, other question? Very interesting actually. So as accountant, normally we understand that we don't talk too much. So anyhow, it's a very good sharing. Okay, so at least we can understand something. So similar to other hospitality accounting, so I can see that uh, KPJ itself focusing more on responsibility accounting. So meaning that the ability of financial reporting as well as management accounting play an important role if we are going to what we call it to involve in this kind of hospitality industry. So math, I think, is another point that we should look forward, not only understanding the debit and credit, but I believe that management accounting also play important role, especially when Madam Lina Syazwani talking about making decision. So especially on the internal part, so for debt collecting debts and so on. All right. So any other question? So I think we have yeah, few more minutes.
Okay, so my question is regarding from the ERP application. You remember that during your okay,
Tak clear Cik Abdan. Tak berapa clear.
okay, apa clear ke tak dengar langsung?
Okay, dengar. But quite slow.
Okay, okay, semasa okay, during your university day, especially one of the session, as pasal, okay, so masa tu kita cuma sajikan dengan software one of the second MYOB or UBS, right? But now talking about the best practices, what happens in the world, in your environment. So this is talking about the ERP system. So my question is on the degree of adoption. Saja benda ni kita saja pun sistem dia. Kita basic software je macam Mayo. Kita tak belajar even, I still remember that, kita belajar ERP ni, the system that initially always refers to as ERP. So saya nak tanya pengalaman ni, macam mana you sesuaikan? You belajar benda yang relate to the typical framework, but in the best practices, lain. ERP dan malangnya sampai sekarang pun saya nampak di ni, orang jarang nak bawa ERP system. Dia jarang nak bawa, especially for the for the new emerging trend, for example, the cloud computing. Lama sangat kita nak bawa ke dalam curriculum kita. So, apa pandangan you sebagai you as a practitioner?
Okay. Thank you, Encik Hamdan. Actually, the question is not so clear. Tapi kalau if I am not mistaken, what you ask is on the ERP system. So how do I sesuaikan diri? Because when we learn in UATM, we learn on MyOp system, right? So soalannya adalah whether how to cope with the challenges with the ERP that we are facing now in working environment as compared to the theory that we learned back then. Am I correct? You're asking the question, right? Okay. So it is quite an interesting question because for me in KPJ Perlis, when I started as an account exec, we don't have any system at that time because we started from scratch and I have to perform account using Excel actually. So and then when I have to undergo the period when we have to do the transition from manual Excel to HITS. So it is quite a huge challenge for me at that time because the hospital is already starting its operation in May 2018. But in May 2018, we are still using Excel. So that is my challenges at that time because at that time I have my accountant and account executive. I am the only account executive because at that time, and we have one account clerk. So this is just a sharing with all of you. So the challenges is that we luckily we have just like I said before, we are under KPJ Healthcare Flagship Hospital. So they send us the person in charge for HITS from HQ to assist me during 1 week, for 1 week. So we have to upload all the accounts since for 2018 lah, since January until May. And we have to make sure we have to do recon. So everything in the Excel that we uploaded in HITS are tally. And at the same time, the hospital are making business, are starting operation. So when the hospital are starting to operate, each time the purchasing and the pharmacy want to purchase goods, they will have to enter in the system as well. So, but we are lucky because before that, even before the HQ people come to us, few months before that, we have been sent to HQ to be trained by them. But of course, when they train us, we are not using the actual figure. So when training, sebenarnya dia tak sama macam bila kita record real data ni. So the challenge just is that we have to, just like I said before, we have to be agile in the industry. Bila kita rasa benda tu susah, memang we have to adapt with it because we don't have any choice. We have to move on with everything that we have, and then at the same time, the theory that we learn is also important because just like I said, it is the basic that we have. Because when the person in charge of the HITS is coming, so when they talk about accounting, when you enter this, this will debited into this account, this will credited into this account. So we can imagine that if we don't have the basic of accounting, I don't think we can relate, and it is quite hard for us to understand lah. But for me, the gist of it is that we have to open up our mind to receive new knowledge from time to time, be it when we are studying or when we are in our working environment. So there will always be new challenges, new knowledge. So that's why when we learn, I'm not sure whether this is included in diploma punya syllabus, but I remembered that I learned organizational behavior and more on the management MGT on the resistance to change. So you have to open up your mind because new system, just like previously you have heard of benda kita buat dia kan. So mestilah kita tahu, kita akan memang kita akan belajar sebab benda tu baru, but at the end of the day our basic tu yang kita pegang. But at the same time, ARP ni dia bukan more on accounting sahaja. Sebab purchasing of goods pun semua kita akan record dalam tu. And in the system juga, dia akan sebenarnya dia lagi memudahkan because bila auditor datang, okay, this is when untuk auditor punya side, they will always want to check whether there is three-way matching konsep tu. Dia selalu nak tengok purchase order dengan goods receipt note dengan invoice semua matching. So when we have this system, it actually helps us to make sure that everything is tight. But we have to have the knowledge as well. So bila auditor datang, they want to understand because the auditor, they don't audit hospital every year. So sometimes they audit industri ni, industri lain, but when they come to hospital, we have to know how to explain to them our nature of business. So am I answering your question, Cik Amdan?
Right. So quite good. The explanation, no worry. It's about sharing, Madam Leader Syazwani. So I think so. So whatever it is, maybe I can perceive that this is about a choice actually. So how to deal with the real situation, actually you need to be more mature, and how to get the maturity is not only from the basic knowledge or from the syllabus itself, but actually it's from time to time. And I believe that the fundamentals of accounting is important. So from there, you can drive yourself to be success. Am I right? It's something like that. All right. So any other question? Last question maybe?
Assalamualaikum.
All right.
Salam.
Puan Lina, just to ask you questions regarding the stocks, okay? The one that you acquire from the supplier, right?
Okay.
As what you mentioned just now, you need to have the recording, the invoices, the good receipt note, the purchase order must be there, isn't it? Right. Okay. Okay. Now, to relate with the items of stocks that you have, that you kept in your store, right? In your pharmacy, for instance, right? How do you treat if, let's say, the units of stocks that you recorded is not matched with what physically in the store? How do you tackle that? Is it same as what we have in our theory, that we have to treat it as stock losses?
Okay.
The second thing is how frequent the stock taking being carried out through the year.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Puan Sawana, for your question. Okay, for your first question is when the physical stock is not tally with the system. Firstly, we will query from the services itself. Contoh macam pharmacy. Okay, I will query to the head of the pharmacist for that particular stock, why the physical quantity is not the same with the system. So and then she will have to give me justification first before we will put it as stock losses. So when she give me justification, sometimes it will happen, maybe the stock is macam stok tu kurang daripada yang dalam sistem. Contohnya macam okay, staff dia dekat pharmacy tak sempat lagi nak charge. Okay, yang ni situation ni contoh, sorry saya bagi example, stok fizikal tu kurang daripada sistem, dekat sistem lebih. Okay, so bila sistem lebih, maksudnya staff dia tak charge lagi ubat tu dalam sistem. So when the staff tak charge lagi, dalam sistem stok tu masih ada. So but Tapi benda tu kalau benda tu dah berlaku untuk bulan yang selepas tu kita terpaksa buat stock adjustment lah. Tapi kalau stok tu sebenarnya dia dah expired. Contoh stok tu expired tapi dalam sistem sekejap, contoh macam mana nak bagi contoh yang boleh faham. Okay, dalam sistem stok tu ada tapi bila start tu kira dia cuma kira yang stok yang tak expired lagi sahaja.
Okay.
So dia sikit lah physical quantity. Sepatutnya selagi saya tak write off stok tu, dia kena kira sekali semua. So saya dah inform, selalu saya kena inform dekat head of services, bukan pharmacy sahaja. Selagi saya tak tablekan di dalam board of meetings or board of directors meeting untuk approval, untuk write off stock, you have to count the stocks at your department, even though it is already expired. But you have, they have to give me upfront the memo that this stock will be expiring soon. So just benda-benda tu kena ada untuk nanti kalau auditor datang untuk nak check lah. Selalunya dia akan check untuk setiap kali kita buat stock take, dia nak tengok report tu. And selalunya after stock take, we will have a brief meeting with all the head of services. So they will justify for the variance that is happening in their services. So yang tu untuk soalan nombor 1 lah. Okay. Okay, soalan nombor 2.
See.
Frequency.
Frequent.
Okay. In our policy, kita akan buat quarterly, setahun 4 kali. But selalunya kita akan cuba buat setiap bulan untuk make sure the stock are intact lah with physical and system. Selalu macam tu. Tapi kalau polisi 4 times a year dah sufficient lah.
Thank you. Just curious sebab kita belajar kan dalam kelas so that nak tengok ada tak praktis tu ataupun lain. So more or less sama lebih kurang. Ya, betul. Terima kasih.
Sama Puan.
Alright, so last question mungkin daripada saya kot. Because this is a services business. Jadi macam saya berminat juga. I'm wondering about pricing mechanism. How the pricing mechanism, kalau tak kisahlah, that used by KPJ.
Okay, the pricing mechanism ni kita ada macam markup, pricing markup polisi kita. So dia setiap price range tu dia adalah percentage dia yang kita akan tengok. Selalu macam tu lah.
Lalu based on markup sajalah dia punya
Markup and at the same time dengan cost tu kita akan tengok cost. Tapi selalunya kalau vendor tu dia tiba-tiba dia charge tinggi pula, so kita akan change dekat markup polisi, dekat markup tu lah untuk cost tu.
How about the consultation fee? Is it about the how popular the how expert, not popular, expert doctors? So charges dia mungkin based on the skill. Ada tak possible pricing on that?
To consultation fees, because okay, in hospital industry, consultants in hospital are considered as macam different entity tau. So consultant, they will gain their income sendiri based on apa yang mereka charge. Tapi consultant pun they cannot simply charge because we have the 13 schedule, yang tu schedule untuk semua consultant lah, guideline by KKM juga untuk they charge their patient. So dia ada consultation fees, dia ada procedure. Kalau untuk dia buat prosedur apa-apa untuk surgery pun dia ada range of price dia.
Lagi satu, if I'm not mistaken kan, kalau kata surgeon, So diorang ada their own insurance yang dia liable juga, dia kena ambil to protect dia punya work kan. Yang tu memang not being covered by the KPJ ataupun memang individually covered by sebab tak nampak is as a cost. Jadi itu cover by doctors ataupun memang KPJ akan support.
Okey, macam tu memang ada medico legal kita panggil yang tu.
Okay.
Yang tu konsultan selalunya dia akan ambil juga untuk dia sendiri sebab hospital memang kita ada juga, tapi hospital will cover for our staff and also the medical officers. Sebab kadang-kadang bila patient dia ada legal cases ke apa ke, dia akan sue hospital and the doctor selalunya dengan doktor yang attend dia tu. So hospital pun ada part dia jugalah, tapi hospital takkan cover untuk doktor, selalunya doktor akan ada sendiri dia punya.
Adakah itu yang kita akan masukkan nanti kalau in practice as contingency cost ataupun itu memang ada legal cost yang akan cover lah, ataupun kita nak classifykan benda tu macam mana dalam accounting punya
Kalau dalam
practice?
accounting, untuk tu kita ada general medical, kita ada medical malpractice insurance. So yang tu kita akan masuk dalam expenses every year, kita akan masuk as insurance expenses.
Alright, I think that's all from me. So kita dah pun sampai di penghujung. I think kita will stop here. And I would like to say again, thank you so much from Madam Lina Syazwani to share your experience and also the practice as an accountant. This is your session. I think we bring on the true accountant here, true and young and vibrant, and also practice accounting in the industry of healthcare. So kami berasa begitu tu beruntung dan ya majority of us kita kurang practice. Memang kita dah practice but long time ago di satu benda yang something different yang memang pada saya lah, for me I enjoy your presentation and I can see a lot of things that being practiced by you, dan our pray here for you now ialah to success more dan berjayalah pada masa akan datang. And insyaAllah kalau kita ada time lagi, so kita personally, kita kalau boleh nak jemput Madam untuk kata ke sini dan share the experience to face with our student actually. So thank you juga pada all the lecturers who are asking the question, and also thank you again for our student for your time. Join us for this Saturday morning until 1 o'clock. And I hope you can get the benefit from this sharing session from Madam Lina Syazwani. So that's all from us, and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I pass back to the Tengkuasa Technical.
Photo session, yeah.
Yeah, photo session.
Okay, everyone can open the camera as we will have our photo session now. All right. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, one more time. 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you for your lovely sharing.
Yeah. And also insyaAllah Tania juga mungkin akan sambut baby.
InsyaAllah.
Ya, insyaAllah. So kami doakan semoga segalanya dipermudahkan. InsyaAllah, we are happy.
Amin.
Amin, amin. Semoga dipermudahkan. Terima kasih.
Terima kasih. Semoga dipermudahkan urusan.
Amin.
Thank you, Pak Azura.
Ya.
Okay. Kita masih bersiaran di YouTube ataupun tak?